last Tuesday night of the season, and we, Knots, the Pies, we are off to the Arctic Circle, which in football terms is known as Boundary Park, Oldham. Knots haven't won at Boundary Park since November 2003. Oldham have won 7 of their last 8, and in that time they've only conceded 1 goal. We've won our last 2, scoring 9 in both. 9 in our last 2 games. But this will be a tough test, and certainly a much tougher test than it was in the reverse fixture. But we must keep going if we are to make inroads on the top 3. We can go into the top 3 by the end of this evening if we win, but only if we win. And that means ending a bad run of form at a ground, like I say, where we haven't won in a very long time. Come on Knots, come on you Pies, let's do this. Team news, I think there's one change, Norburn for Tangen. Tangen's on the bench this time. Luca is back in the squad after being out since early October with an injury. Ness is in for McDonald, I think that's precaution. Dennis back on the bench after his suspension. And body warmer and coat on tonight. It's that cold, it's raining, the weather's horrible. March 24th, the day the Breakfast Club met up in detention. First attack as well. We started brightly as too, and then Conor Grant, I think it was, who tried to control it in this weather, and then they countered and then they scored. What's that? The chance to go inside the top 3? Oh yeah, let's play it again. Oh, what a ball by Jody! I told her that was what we needed to do. I said before the game, Jody needs to get at Will Sutton. He put in a great ball. Shatter header, needs to score, but great save by Matt Hudson. Blimey, this ref lost the sound of his own whistle. We need to stop playing into their hands, playing long all the time. We need to play our football on the ground. It was right in the first 2 minutes, we're creating stuff. Just making silly decisions when we don't need to. Like then, we gave away a corner, Bedeau just tried to head it back to Belshaw, and it just went out for a corner. Right, half-time 1-0 I should say. Conceded a silly goal on the break after I think it was Grant who took an unnecessary first touch, which led them on the counter, playing into their hands. We started well. We played the football we want on the floor, getting it down, trying to get it wide and get crosses in. It's fine. And then we just stopped. Why did we stop? We're giving away cheap, silly fouls. We've got some unnecessary yellow cards, but not getting our passes off quick enough. There was a moment in the first moment early on when Bedeau could have got a pass off to Jones when he was wide open and chose to turn back and go to Ness. Shatter should really score, but really good save by Hudson. Norburn's been sent off again. Second yellow. They're giving the ref a decision to make putting your foot up there. Yeah, game's over. Game's over when Norburn got sent off. Can't be else anymore. Game's gone. We went to 1-0 when we went down to 10 men. Dennis and Tangen on for Palmer and Jaffson. Death taxes and us being rubbish at Boundary Park. Well, what a difference 7 days can make. We went from our best performance of the season away at Accrington to the worst performance of the season away at Oldham. Have you ever seen 2 fixtures against the same team in the same season be so completely contrasting? Notts dominated Oldham at the Lane. And this here, reflective of Oldham being the better team and just wanting it more and capitalising on stupidity from us and silly errors and being dominant physically. We made a lively start, to be honest. We had the ball on the floor, we were playing it around well, coping with the conditions. The conditions were horrible, by the way. Fair play to everyone at the ground on Tuesday, because them conditions were horrible. Not just for playing football, but as a fan as well. I know we're underneath the stands, but oof, it was the wind, the rain. But yeah, we made a decent start. But from a free kick though, it starts to go wrong. It's cleared. It's not a great free kick in the first place. It's cleared easily, and then Grant decides to take a first touch on his chest. Their player capitalises on it. Eventually gets to Drummond, and he gets past Cerula. Cerula doesn't do that well up against him, and he makes it 1-0. And then we have an absolute golden opportunity to equalise. Jones does well. I felt our best avenue of attack was to get Jones at 1-on-1 up against Will Sutton. Really good cross. Shatter breaks free from his man, and he has to score. It's a good save by Matt Hudson. Do not get me wrong. From the away end, it looked like a cracking save. Having looked back on the replay, again, good, really good save. But out of all the places for Shatter to put his header, he puts it in the centre of the goal. All he has to do is nod it to his right, or even header it back across from where Hudson's coming from, and it's 1-1. It's a completely different game from that moment onwards. And from that moment, as the half went on, we stopped playing the football on the floor that we'd started to do early on, and Oldham increased their press. But at the same time, some of the decision making was very poor. Times when we had the chance to pass forwards, we didn't take. I remember when Jones was free on the left hand side, and Bordeaux, instead of passing to him in space, went back to Ness. There was another time where he went to head it back to Belshaw, and Belshaw doesn't really know much about it, so he goes straight out for a corner. And times when we get to the halfway line and we're passing back instead of using the space and driving forward. Iapenda had times where he, ran forward, brought the ball forward into space, and then it just broke down because we had no options out wide, or, players driving forward with the ball into space like there was against Accrington, like there was against Cheltenham. Even in the first half against Chesterfield as well. I think it was the right decision to put on Love on and take Grant off, because Grant wasn't affecting the game. I don't think the attacking mids were near enough Xhaka. They weren't. Xhaka was isolated. The attacking mids needed to be further up with him, and they weren't. And that made our press ineffective, and it made us ineffective in the final third. So I very much was fine with us going to up front, because we needed something. We needed something else to give them something to think about. Like we did against Cambridge. We went to up front against them earlier in the season. We won 2-0. We changed the game. Here, our plan falls apart within 3 minutes. Norben had already been given a yellow card for a silly kick off the ball early in the first half. And here, he raises his foot. He does catch Stevens. I think it's Stevens. And it's the most obvious second yellow. Why do it? Why? Stupidity. That's what it is. It's stupid. You don't raise your foot when you're already on a yellow card. Mentality. Just common sense. Don't do it. And that red card pretty much takes away any chance of we got at the game. Yes, it's 1-0. But again, like with Chesterfield, with the game, we've got to go further, chase down the extra space. And Oldham caught us again on the counter-attack. And Stevens does well here, to be honest. I will say why he does well in a moment. But the cross is cleared. And I think at this point, we have 3 players outside the box when this corner is taken. And they have one, I think it's just fond up on his own up top. And then they counter. And by the time they've got the chance, when I think it's Kai Payne shot his parry by Belshaw, they've got Fondop, Stevens, and I think it's Drummond ready to tap it in. What on earth is that about? They break well, don't get me wrong. Stevens threw a nice pass to Payne. McCorry, oh my word, I don't know what he's doing. But that is just unacceptable. Good counter, but just poor positioning again from our players. Yeah, the game is gone by that point. Like I said, during the game was gone when Norburn got sent off. It was already an uphill task. Down to 10 men when we're 1-0 down. When we're 2-0 down, we're down to 10 men. Well, what hope have you got? You may as well pack up and go home. I think it's like 12 minutes later or something like that to make it 3. And this isn't anything to do with tactics. This is just common sense. This is just mentality. This is just decision making. Ness looks up and then still plays the pass back, and then they make it. And Fondok makes it 3-0. If a team wants it more than you, then they're gonna win. We've known that earlier this season when we played Chesterfield. If you can't do the basics right, what chance have you got of winning or getting any points from a game? Not just if we stop playing the football on the floor like we did earlier on in the game. That red card completely derailed us and gave us no chance of winning the game. And Oldham were winning more 50-50s than us. And because we stopped playing the ball on the ground, we played it into their hands, and it was a battle for us from then on. And they were physically better. We were outfought by them, and we just looked like we just didn't want to be there, to be honest. The subs, I mean, some players just completely jogging about. I mean, I don't mind losing when there's effort, but when even the subs come on and it's just like some of them look like they just can't be bothered, that's when it's annoying, because you've paid your hard-earned money. 1,000 fans, 1,100 fans there on Tuesday on a horrible, cold, wet Tuesday night in Oldham, and we get served with a performance where from the second half especially, it generally looks like some players cannot be bothered, and that is when we have a right to criticise. We need to get over this quickly, because these are 7 big games coming up now. If you enjoyed the vlog, give it a like, comment down below your thoughts on the game, stay subscribed if you're subscribed, subscribe if you're new. Be safe, be champions, and as always, Toulouse.